welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and my villain era is continuing. For those of you new to the pod, this month we've been reviewing books that deconstruct the fairy tale fantasy. These are stories where the traditionally grotesque monster stars as the beguiling love interest. And if you have listened to this podcast before, or if you've just listened to me talk for a minimum of 5 minutes before, you know that I am obsessed with Finley Fenn's Orc Sworn series. So it would be ridiculous not to cover an orc romance when I'm in my villain era. So today we are reviewing Finley Fenn's short story Offered by the Orc, which you can currently get for free if you sign up for Finley Fenn's newsletter. I can attest she sends an appropriate amount of emails, so it's not spammy. If you're interested in dipping a toe into orc romance, I say sign up. And if you're ready to just dive in, I've included links to some of my favorite books in this series in today's show notes. So my guests today obviously had to be the complete opposites of villains. Nick Wiger and Mike Mitchell, hosts of Doughboys, are here today. I've known Nick and Mitch from my improv days, and I've been listening to the Doughboys podcast like before I even knew what a podcast was. It has accompanied me at every single shitty day job I've ever had or had to drive to, so this was a real treat for me. And another treat is that they let me use their studio to record this episode. So this is probably the best the podcast has ever sounded and will ever sound. So thank you to Emma Casey and Headgum Studios for your time and literal space. Now let's just get to the episode. And you might need a splash guard because we are talking a lot of fluids in this episode. Please enjoy this review of Offered by the Orc. All right, Mitch, Nick.
Yes.
Welcome to Too Stupid to Live, my podcast.
We're very happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Nick, welcome back.
My pleasure.
I want to ask you, how has your life changed for the better since last appearing?
Since I was slam dunked by love.
Since you were dunked by love, yeah.
You know, it's given. Look, there's a big part of Mitch and I are both, big time basketball fans, and a big part of your enthusiasm is not just the sport, but the people involved, and that certainly gave you perspective into a different side. The idea of the kind of torrid romances that happen on the hardwood. So I think in general it's given me a new appreciation for the human side of the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you watch basketball differently now? Or, I mean, I'm sure you watch it with
yeah.
a TV.
I was like, these guys fucking and sucking? What's going on?
Because that's how I watch it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always watched it.
I'm pretty sure that, they're basketball players that fucking suck.
Yeah, of
sure.
course, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, in the book, are they fucking and sucking each other in the book?
It's
not
more,
in this one.
No, this is
Okay.
more. This is like a hetero romance. It's between a coach's daughter and a star player, if memory
Okay.
serves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure basketball players are fucking and sucking.
They are. They're doing that.
Yeah, they're
all
doing
the time.
it right now.
Yeah.
Podcasters, not as much.
No, yeah.
No, we just talk about it. Mitch, I have to ask you, before this book, have you ever read a romance novel before or skimmed through one?
Well, no. I don't know if I've ever read a romance novel, ever. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably have, looked at, when my mom had some sort of book like this back in the day. I probably looked at it and was like, what the fuck is this? But I never, especially, look, and I'm going to say this. How has my life changed for the better, even though I haven't been on since? There's a big question of, would I read this book? Would I not read this book? I read the book.
Mitch read the book. I knew you'd read
I
the
read
book.
the whole book, so I've completed the Mitch One Book Challenge, which Wiger set for me. I've read a book this year. And so it was great to be back reading again.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
Very fun. But no, I had never, the subject material, honestly, nothing close to this. I feel like anytime someone has sent me anything like erotica, though, it reminded me of it, which I told you beforehand, which we can get into a little bit more.
Yeah,
but.
let's get into that. No, I'm just kidding. But I guess I kind of wanted to get your, what was your opinion on romance and erotica, just as an outsider looking in a way?
I think so much of me thought, well, as a boy, my perspective is that's silly or gross. I didn't really probably understand it. And then as an adult, I don't know, maybe I think it's silly, but also in a way that so is like, like so is liking Spider-Man movies. You
right.
know, like
Yeah.
it's an escape, and I don't think and also it is like. I mean, it really is very horny.
Super. This book is super horny.
This book is. I mean, this is more so than just a regular romance novel, I would guess.
Yeah. This is definitely, it's compact, so it's like all the sex is in there. The story, not as much.
Kind of abbreviated.
I mean? Yeah.
And the sex in a normal romance novel is not like what happens here, right? Or
no, I feel like there's like a whole range of sex levels.
Sure.
It's kind of like porn. Like if it's like, if you can think of it, it exists. Like someone has written something.
I shouldn't say silly either. I don't think that romance novels are silly. I just always am like, it's just the idea of like, when you get into a real relationship, there are romantic moments and there's sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
But there's just the idea of like laying in silky sheets and stuff like that. Like a lot of that seems silly to me in some ways.
There's also like an element of
there are people like that though, right?
Yeah, there are people like that.
Yeah.
Like what? Like lying silk sheets?
Like
tenderly hold each other? What are you talking about?
Like candles and
yeah, there are people into that shit. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I think this is the thing where specifically with romance novels, it's not marketed towards you or towards me. Like there's a real clear like gender bifurcation with who these are sold to, right? I'm sure there's a male audience for these books, or specifically a hetero male audience, but I don't think there's it's not the main appeal of these.
Sure, yeah.
I feel like that at least from my understanding, that men tend to be more visual, and that's why male pornography targeted towards men is like tends to be a little bit more visually oriented and graphic and explicit.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel bad in some ways because I'm like, man, the romantic side of this, like I feel like doesn't exist as much for like people who like when you're reading these books, you're like, I would love for that to happen to me. I would love to be like like pulled out by an orc or whatever, and then you're like, it doesn't really happen too often in this life.
Yeah,
I feel like the orc in real life would be like, "What's up?" You
suck. Yeah,
a real orc would totally suck. I totally get what you're saying, and I feel like lately, like I've been talking to people who have to like actively be like, "This is a fantasy. This is not real life. It's fun to read." You know, I shouldn't be expecting.
Yeah, I mean, but it is. I mean, and then I'm also like, was there something wrong? Maybe I should be getting some silk sheets. Maybe I should, you know what I mean? Maybe
yes.
They're hot over the summer. Like you'll sweat through them. It's uncomfortable.
But maybe I gotta up that romance. I've never I mean like I've gone away with people and stuff like that. But it's just like this is the cover of these novels. I'm like, that's like more sexual than I ever am. It's like
yeah.
It's like it's a lot. I feel like
totally.
Is there like a specific like gesture of romance? It could be like in film, because I know you're a film guy, but it could be in real life that kind of sticks with you.
And from a movie?
Yeah, or anything that is just like, this melts my cold heart.
Oh man, that is. I mean, like so many movies, even movies I don't like. It's like I'll be like I'll end up tearing up at like a Marvel movie that I hate. Mm-hmm. Like I think movies get me pretty easy, but a moment that I like, a romantic movie I like in film. I mean, this one pops out of my head, but when Leo and what's her name from The Departed? Who's the actress?
Vera Farmiga.
Vera Farmiga. When they go at it and Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb is playing.
Yeah.
I know I like Pink Floyd, but it is a sexy
So it's
scene.
more about the Pink Floyd.
I mean, it's not all about the Pink Floyd, but that is like a scene that I'm like, damn, yeah, go for it, you two. Like, get after it.
And I feel a pretty unsexy song, too. I don't think I associate Comfortably Numb with, like, doing the nasty.
Oh no, not at all. No, it was cool in that way. What are some famous moments that you can think of from film?
I mean, like Challengers is fresh in the brain. That's a very, very steamy movie, but a lot of it also exists just with like the attention, and you're not really actually seeing, without getting too much into spoiler country. It's not like there's like a lot of like explicit sex in that movie or anything like that. It's more just about like the kind of like, ooh, they're just there's some sort of feelings going on here that are semi addressed, you know. So I think that element, I don't know, like I'm a big like again, when I've done those love language things, I think I've landed on kind of like acts of service. So for me, like a very romantic gesture is like, oh, here's like a meal I prepared that's like really like, you know, hey, this is really thoughtful and considered, and the, like that sort of thing like kind of melts my butter. But I'm, you know, I think in general, like, what I like about this story, and what I like about the romance fiction that I've read, the limited amount that I've read, is that it does talk so much about like kind of the emotional interiority of these characters versus like the porno I'm usually watching is just like, here's just like naked bodies just fucking railing each other. You know what I mean? It's a lot more primal, and it feels a lot more like this is just for the utility. This is like fast food versus like you know, a nice meal at a restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, even like in like, you know, like, I'm trying to think of even like 1940s movies where it's like, kiss me, you fool, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, which I do like those movies, but I just don't.
Sure.
I feel like I don't want, and I can't even think of. I could think of like Casablanca, and that's it. And that's
But like my favorite, most romantic moment ever is the end of The Apartment.
Oh,
when
sure.
he's like, "I love
okay.
you," and she's like, "Shut up and deal," and I'm like, my heart's melted. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're saying "I love you" without saying "I love you." I don't know.
There's a
Han
moment.
Solo, I love you. And then he says,
I
I know.
That's Mitch. You know what? That's a better example.
It's a better,
I was just saying that reminded me of
Yes.
that, Wags, and I like that moment.
It's a good moment.
yeah.
And the thing along those lines is because you know I've read all of Jane Austen's books, and I really like them, and those obviously don't have like explicit, you know, fucking people getting it on, but it is like a lot of like romantic tension and how these people feel about each other. But my favorite Jane Austen book is Persuasion. I believe that was her final book, and the end of that, it's a similar sort of moment, but it's delivered in a letter. It's like, here's a letter that I see, and it's just like, these are all my feelings kind of spelled out for you, and like this thing has been unspoken the whole time, but here it is laid out, and we're not even in the same space, but you just like feel it from both sides so profoundly. It's really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I do see similarities between that and the Leonardo DiCaprio Vera Farmiga scene, because when they hook up, I mean, they're on opposite sides, not opposite sides, but they're the stakes are very high because he's like undercover, she's his therapist. You know, you are like, it is like, is this gonna be?
It's nerve-wracking, for sure. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, it's like look, I like it, but now I'm realizing like, oh, maybe I don't even watch that many like romantic dramas or whatever.
Right.
Which they don't really. I mean, they do. It's the way that movies have changed, where you're like, whatever, you know, in the 40s, a movie like that would be like, it's a classic, and now it's like, oh, this is like it's like a movie made for women, or it's like targeted towards women or whatever. I've never seen The Notebook. I remember an ex wanted to watch The Notebook with me very much, and I never watched The Notebook.
I'm not a fan of The
Notebook. Not your cup of tea. Yeah. But I'm saying like that felt like The Notebook. I'm like, that is a movie not for me. Like when I was seeing, and then like, but compared to back in the day, I'll be like, oh, whatever. Any sort of Casablanca or whatever, like, even though it's the only one I can bring up, is like, that's a movie you're supposed to see. You know what I mean? As opposed to something that's so targeted towards like you know, to women.
Yeah, the idea of like romance. I mean, this is just a more general issue with movies of just like adult drama kind of being a genre that used to exist, and this isn't a romance, but like a movie like Ordinary People used to be like, this is a movie with or Kramer vs. Kramer. This is a movie with movie stars that's just about like a portion of life, and it's not, you know, there's and we're just going to put this in theaters, and it'll be a box office hit. Like that kind of we've shifted away from that, unfortunately.
It's a bummer, right?
It's a bummer, yeah, because that stuff is cool. Anyway, what I was going to say is, going back to what you were asking about, romance fiction is, and I think this is a thing Mitch was bringing up before the record, I feel like most of what I've consumed has been like erotic fanfic.
Right.
And a lot of that is very poorly written. Like, so that's a big part of it. Like, I'm reading like Sonic the Hedgehog erotic fanfic, or like WWE erotic fanfic. Yeah. And it's really like just clunkily sort of put together, and that's part of its charm.
What? The second one was WWE?
I did see, I've read some WWE fanfic. I remember, there's one I remember. I can't remember if I mentioned this on your podcast before, Becky, but it was Lita. You remember Lita?
Of course.
It was Lita hooking up with
Team Extreme, I believe.
And I don't remember who it was.
Well, she dated Matt Hardy, and then
I think it might have been Matt Hardy. It was like a Lita Matt Hardy fanfic or something like that.
And then in reality, she actually there was like an affair, like she cheated on him with, or Edge and her cheated on Matt Hardy. I wasn't trying to put the blame all on Lita because I also think that, like,
loving this.
yeah, it was, and then also Vince McMahon, who's as we know, insane,
yes,
and a piece of shit, turned it into like a storyline.
Yeah,
and so like
classic wrestling.
Matt Hardy was like probably losing his mind.
That's legit Real Housewives. It's like the same thing that happens on Real Housewives.
Yeah.
It's like they utilize like these scandals to.
And then it makes them all go insane, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
But anyway, this particular fanfic stuck with me just because they included the specific of like Matt Hardy took out his hard 5-inch dick. I was like, wait a minute. You said on 5 inches? Where did you get 5 inches? It's like
I might read this shit. I think it sounds pretty. That to me sounds more realistic now.
Yeah.
We're talking about like which like there is some, obviously this what we read as fantasy, but what are old romantic movies? All I said was Casablanca, which I don't even know if you would you I mean, it is romantic
I think
in
so.
some
I think
point,
very
but it's not
much
like
so.
a romantic.
I mean, Becky, you cited The Apartment. It's a good example. I mean, I'm trying to think of others. It's a tough thing. My brain is struggling to summon it right now.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. Come on, leave us alone. It's hard.
I'm stuck because like. I don't know, like I'm like in my head, like what does 5 inches look like? Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like how did like that? See, it's like those kinds of things. But so describe it with a number.
It's this crazy number. But it's like the kind of thing of like that's what's interesting to me about the amateur authors. Like, how do you settle on that detail? How do you just like where does that come from?
Is that your idea?
Of, yeah.
He has a 5-inch dick.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Like, using your life.
It's a self-insert character.
It's you know what? He most men in America, he has a 5-inch dick.
It's within the meaty part of the bell curve, as they say. That's like the standard.
I think the average, quote unquote, is 5 point something. Just so you know.
This is good to know.
Why are you telling? Why you?
Yeah.
I'm just letting Nick know that the average. Is 5 points.
Okay, we all believe you.
I'm just looking it up quickly.
Okay, while you look it up, I will read a quick synopsis about the book that we reviewed. We reviewed Offered by the Orc, which is a short story that takes place between books 1 and 2 of the Orc Sworn series by Finley Fenn. It is currently free if you sign up for Finley Fenn's newsletter on her website, finleyfenn.com. Okay, so here's a quick synopsis that I wrote 5 minutes ago. Okay.
I have an answer, by the way. Just whenever I have it prepped.
Okay, and what's the source on this?
Mitch.com.
Wait, what's the answer? Because I'm dying to know.
The average length of an erect penis is between 5.1 and 5.5 inches.
And is this globally or in the United States?
This looks like it's globally.
Okay.
But this may be toward the lower end of the range due to volunteer bias. The average length of a flash speed is 3.61 inches, which seems long for, I mean, I guess that's more showers. The average girth, I mean, whatever. We're not going to get into it. The average girth is 3.66, and the average girth of a erect penis is 4.59 inches. The study was based on 100 Doughboys fans. Sorry.
Okay.
Measuring girth is tricky because you gotta get like a string and like wrap it around, and then you unfurl the string and you measure the string.
Yeah, it's kind of how you measure your waist a little bit.
But what I've read about these sorts of things is yes, the self-selection bias is a huge issue because the kind of it's a different demographic, the kind of hog haver who will volunteer to have themselves be measured. You know what I mean? And then the other aspect is that in a clinical setting, you can't really say like, okay, we're going to make you hard and then we're going to measure you. So it has to be like you're going to go get hard and measure yourself. And then guys will tend to, cheat up a little bit or round up or whatever, or just measure incorrectly because they don't know like, where do I go to do I push my do I push my flesh in like all the way to my hip bone?
Which I
do I
think,
measure to my ball sack?
Okay.
People don't quite know how to begin.
I think you're supposed to stick the ruler in like a stake into Dracula's heart.
Just jam it in there.
Don't think I didn't
Get yourself
read
an extra
something
inch and a
about
half.
where that took place recently. It was like a Mothman romance.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's kind of like keeping me up at night. But the way the Mothman dicks are, you can like stick stuff in the dick.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And I mean, they had a great time. I was horrified.
I I've never seen Mothman Prophecies. Have you seen that? Isn't
No,
that the
I haven't.
Denzel movie?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
seen
I've
it.
never seen it either. Like I didn't know it was like I got the book before I knew it was Mothman.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mothman was like a cryptoid creature.
Yeah, what is it? Is it
A cryptid?
Yeah,
Cryptid.
cryptid. Yeah.
You see, you watch the movie and then Denzel's like, "No, let's jam something in his dick."
It's working. What the fuck? What is this movie?
But it was like kind of like, you're kind of like, look at them and exploring and enjoying and connect. I was like
Yeah,
really
sure.
happy for this human woman and this weird dick looking Mothman.
Right.
Mothman, that. Oh, you know what I just remembered? A romantic sci-fi is the Guillermo del Toro Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and this is also what I was thinking of. You should do the summary of the book because I'm speaking too much here. But
No, but I literally just talked about Shape of Water like in the last episode, so this is good because like everyone wishes they could fuck more on the screen.
Which I do
Yeah.
agree with you. And like it is like just having a hard time pulling romantic dramas or
Yeah.
whatever. It is crazy to me that I'm like, what are ones? And then so many of them I think of are quote unquote chick flicks, as
Right.
they say,
Exactly.
which is not, but also I think that's how they market them. You know what I mean? But I never watched even 50 Shades of Grey, like the hornier ones or anything like that.
I don't think they're a good example of like what the genre can be
Sure.
as much as like the orcs. You know
Shape
what
of
I
Water
mean?
feels so much like feels a lot like what we read. And that's what I think I said to you beforehand, that I was surprised that she didn't transform partially into an orc. Or like there was a moment where she's like, there kind of is a moment where she's like, I saw him and he looked beautiful.
Yep.
But I was like, oh, is there going to be like some moment where like, which is maybe too like normative or something of like, the orc looked more like a handsome man now, or like, or I became orc-like. I thought there would be stuff like that because any fan fiction I've read, there's like a lot of like, there's like whatever, and I don't read a lot of fan fiction.
Yeah, sure.
But stuff that's been sent to me, it's like turned into a wolf as
Right.
well,
Yeah,
or
right.
something. Sorry, spitting everywhere.
Yeah. Because I think people are like, oh, if you have to be the same species to love each other, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
like,
there's
well,
like,
yeah.
in Shape of Water that does happen. Like she
Sure,
literally
gets
starts
it,
like
yeah.
breathing underwater or whatever. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I think part of the hey, like another great romance, Avatar. It's the same sort of thing.
It's the
right?
same
It's
thing.
Like he has to, Jake Sully has to abandon his human form. But I think in this one, and I think this is part of it, is what I'm getting is it's partly appealing to. There's nothing wrong with me. Everyone's been telling me there's been something wrong with me. That's been I've been self-criticizing my whole
Yes.
life. But you know what? The problem was that I was with the wrong person, or you know what? Or maybe just the men in my life are not like,
Yes.
they're not good guys. And there's
That's a
actually
huge
takes
part of
someone
it.
from a different culture with a different value system who's going to appreciate me on my terms, you know?
Yes, if I was Finley Fenn's husband, I'd be like, uh-oh. If I read that book, I'd be like, am I not treating her very well?
Mitch, in the About the Author page, she says she has a beautiful orc husband.
Yeah.
So.
You piece of shit. He didn't read about the author beforehand.
But she does.
He didn't know Finley Fenn was a lady.
I didn't
until-
read the About the Author part was at the very end, so I didn't read it on my Kindle. And then Mitch said he did read it, so I read it before we started recording.
Oh,
Wow.
there you go. Wow, there's a lot of competition happening.
Fucking bullshit.
Who read about the author? Okay, wait. Let me read the synopsis first, and
Yes,
then
please,
I want to
sorry.
say something. Well, I'll say something first, and then I'll read the synopsis.
By the way, is the synopsis also just a summary of
Yeah.
the book?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, okay. I feel like there are a lot of women who are like realizing that, like, how in like Beauty and the Beast, like in the end he changes back into a human.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of women realizing like he didn't have to change back.
Yes,
Yeah.
they think
You know
that
what
the
I
Beast.
mean?
They
Less
think
hot.
they think Beast is hot.
Exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
one of those people of just
Yeah.
like Belle was like ready to do the Beast. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And it's like, oh, I guess it's okay. It's like, oh, if you're a good person, then they'll be handsome. And it's like, what does handsome mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
With that hairy ass dick, of the Beast would have a big hairy.
Way more than 5
hog.
inches. Way more than 5 inches.
That is a good point. That he when he turns human, his dick devolves. I'm sure of it.
It
Like,
has to. I mean, if his hands and claws do.
yeah.
I
It's
wonder.
like, you just like, where's the shot of it like going in? Like, floating. Okay.
Cold shower
Yeah.
effect. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's,
Okay, synopsis. Okay. Let the orcs come, as thick as summer moths round a candle. This is something the character of Gimli says in Lord of the Rings, but it was not in reference to the, dare I say, meet-cute between Stella, a human woman repressed by the benchmarks of society, and Silfast, a wandering, goddess-fearing orc warrior. When Stella realizes she's astride an ancient altar dedicated to the goddess of Batul, hope I said that right, Silfast's monstrous warmth fills every one of her empty chasms, including the one in her heart. For Silfast, this may be a cleansing sacrifice he's aiding in, but for Stella, it's a rebirth.
Did you write that?
I did write that.
It's beautiful.
You did so much nice work for this.
Really poetic.
It was great, and for this book.
Oh, thank you.
Which I don't know. I'm not even sure if this book deserves this nice synopsis.
I think it does.
So hold on a second. I'm not saying that the book is bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is so well written.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, I will, like, if there's any romance authors out there who are like, write a synopsis for my book, I will do it. I will find the humanity of any sort of book.
What was your thing about Lord of the Rings again? Could you...
Because there's a line in Lord of the Rings where Gimli's like, let the orcs come as thick as summer moths around a candle. Which is not in, because this is different kind of orc coming.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Is it also a different kind of orc? Because that was...
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, like, my understanding of orcs was, like, kind of like, oh, okay, it's from, like, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, but it is, like, kind of a different goblin, different beast, if you will.
Yeah, I think there's a few different, it's become just sort of a high fantasy staple. I actually don't know if J.R.R. Tolkien is credited with inventing the orc.
He's
or if
not,
the orc.
no,
So the orc
yeah.
predates Tolkien.
Yeah.
And like elf or dwarf or whatever, just kind of a staple.
Huh? Is that how you say it?
Tolkien? I don't know.
Oh, I always said Tolkien.
Yeah.
Not Tolkien, but
it's not Tolkien. Yeah, no, that's a different thing.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. There's but like it's kind of like a staple fantasy race, and I know it mostly from like role playing games. And in fact, my headcanon, my image of the orc here is like a Baldur's Gate 3 orc, because these are like big burly dudes, and they've got like big like underbites with like these exposed teeth.
Warcraft maybe.
Exactly. Honestly, World of Warcraft is that's a different sort of like orc as well, but they are kind of like both burly and bruising, but there is a latent attractiveness to them.
Sure,
like there's some appeal to the character. And so that's kind of what I was envisioning here. Even though she was calling him ugly, I think there was an element of what you were saying, Mitch, of like that's just her brain trying to work through this weird attraction, you know?
Yeah, because I think we're in a world where it's like there is propaganda against orcs.
Right.
You know, we're taught to think that they're ugly, but it's like, are they?
I feel like a lot of her descriptions, besides all the stuff where there was good sex, is like how anyone I've been with romantically would describe me. I have to think that some of this must, like, I'm trying to wonder if this book would exist without Lord of the Rings, or if it's like partially like. You think it's a little bit inspired by, or do you think like?
No, I think very much so. I think this is that informs so much of the fantasy genre, not romantic fantasy, but like fantasy in general. And it's the same way like people sexualize anything. So there's no Pokemon porn parodies without Pokemon. You know what I mean? It's like it had to have existed to lead to the porno.
It is a very different orc, though, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yes,
and Batul is just a very funny. The altar of Batul.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the stuff that gets repeated in the whether it be Batul, you know, something specific, or like juices, or like disconcerting. There was like a few things that were like in the novel just used over and over again, but it. Orc
prick as one word.
Orc prick. They usually say prick a lot. Yeah.
Like a wet heat or whatever. That was like one part of it.
That's normal. Yeah.
That's a normal one.
Oh yeah, wet heat. That's like kind of saying the word the.
We should address midway through the episode.
Yes.
So Casey got us started and then exited the studio, and Emma entered with Jemmy. So Jemmy walked into the studio, took a comfortable spot, resting on the rug, but Emma's joining mid-discussion of us talking through this orc porno book, so sorry.
If you don't mind.
I am so excited to be here to hear all about this orc con. I've heard of its health properties. I'm so ready.
The orc come. This wasn't.
I know.
As
I was kind of
cummy.
sad.
This wasn't as cummy as
It's
I
not as
wanted
cummy,
it to be.
yeah.
There's
And
no cum. I'm out.
no, there's there's tons of cum. And don't worry. And they like kind of like like there is a point where it's like she's tasting it, and he has that great moment where he's like, "You think I'm ugly, orc, but no, I taste so sweet." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like what a beautiful moment about humanity.
His orc seed, I believe that they
Orc
refer to it as at one
seed,
point.
yeah.
Fill your empty belly.
Oh
Loved
yeah,
it.
Jesus.
Oh, he says
I
womb.
forgot about that.
Womb. Oh no, wait, when she blows him.
Yeah, when she sucks him off.
See, I thought that the orc cum would have some more transformative properties at
Right.
some point.
I
was
yeah.
hoping for. I guess. The whole book is it's insane. A lot of it
Yes.
is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
And there was a part in it, I should just say, that I was reading it and I was like, wait, is he like fucking her in the ass?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was
he fucks
like,
her in the ass.
because she talks about, she's like, Lothar had only done this like once before
Lothar,
or
her
whatever.
loser husband.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, maybe she was a virgin. And then I was like, oh no, he is fucking her in the ass.
Yeah.
And then it happened again later with fingering her ass, where I was like, wait, so now he's just fingering? This seems like a de-escalation. I was like, oh, he's fingering her ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of
Which is insane.
there's a little bit of
Yeah, it is insane. I mean, yes, this book is insane. This is an
Yeah.
insane book.
now I just feel like very much like a Protestant.
No.
yeah, you
no,
don't
no,
want
no.
to. I get the idea
No
of not
judgment.
wanting to sound like a prude on a romance novel podcast, but
Yeah.
what I will say in your defense, I feel like this is one where I'm reading this. I'm like, just get the order right. You know what I mean? Because like here's my big
Yeah.
issue. I actually thought this book was pretty. Like I was like, oh, this is hot stuff. This is not what I normally would ingest for porno purposes. But I was like, this is a pretty hot.
How many times did you jack?
Just a normal time.
How many gallons or
Yeah. Like 11 times. You know.
Okay. Good day.
No, I was, but then it gets to the part, and like my prudishness is I'm so hygiene conscious.
Right.
Is that I was afraid he was going to go ass to mouth. He doesn't.
Yeah.
But he goes ass to vag.
That's
which
bad.
I'm just like, that, you got to take a shower. Like, this is
I
so
agree.
unhygienic. You're going to give this poor peasant woman a UTI.
Yeah.
Like, don't mess around with that
And you're
stuff.
gonna probably end up with a UTI yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
that's something that I did think about, but I feel like, let's say that like UTIs don't exist with orcs.
That's the other thing.
I had to like
right.
Okay.
because I do think it was like very interesting that like the final kind of like fucking was her pussy,
Yeah.
like because
Yeah.
it's like I feel like there's such like a breeding kind of fetish in this. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
Right.
yes.
Like, and it's like, his seed inside her where it's supposed to create a child, like that is sacred. Anything
Yes.
else is just like,
And-
let's have fun, babe. Like,
And he washes the scent of Lothar off of her
Yes.
as well,
Right.
which is an important part of this whole
what did you
cleansing process.
think about that? Like, just like about the fact that the orc has such a strong sense of smell.
I mean, it's very funny to me. It's almost like kind of a reveal in it. Was like, this is what the cleansing was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the scent of Lothar off. And I was like, that's very funny. But also at the same time, I was thinking of this from Lothar's perspective, who comes back and is like, I took the shitty male's perspective, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Who comes back and he's like, wait, she's gone and she's with or she's in the orc mountain
Yeah.
fucking this orc? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it sounds like he was a real piece of shit.
That's the
sucked,
whole thing.
yeah.
And they make a point of saying, like, he's walking around everywhere. He doesn't pay attention to her. He's also, like, whoring.
Yeah, he's fucking around.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's I think, a big part of it.
But imagine being Lothar's friends and being like,
Dude,
fucking orc.
got cucked by
Yeah,
an orc.
well, that's a big thing in the series because it's like women will like there's another one of my favorite books in the series is when like one of the women like runs off to purposely be with an orc to purposely embarrass her husband.
That's
Wow.
You know, and then the orc is like, I feel used, and you're just like, oh my
Wow.
god, you poor orc.
Yeah. There's well, you were talking about the breeding fetish. So this is a thing that I found interesting as a reader and as a novice to this sort of thing is like there's a lot of not just what like prelude to the act obviously, but also there's a pretty extended coda where they're talking about like what this means, and like she's like worried like you're gonna impregnate me and then abandon me and then I'm gonna be on my own, I'm gonna be scared and isolated, and he's like, no, I will take care of you, I will treat you well, I will never hurt you. Like is that an element, is that there because this is part of a larger canon and this is setting up where these characters go, or is part of the purpose like is that also part of the fetish of like, oh, I want like I'm married to this loser. I want a big, strong man who will take care of me, like who will satisfy me sexually, but also will provide for me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, yes. So I think both. I think it's a complicated answer, but because I think like there is this idea of like, you know, being not being owned, but being dominated,
yes.
you know, and
that was like it was like humiliation is one side of it, and then but more so domination for me from when I was reading like that.
He's taking total control.
Because I think like when it comes to being dominated, the empowering part is someone saying, "I'll let you dominate me."
Yes,
you're
right.
lucky to be dominating me, you know, and I think like so I do think that there's that. I do think that like there's this like kind of animalistic breeding fetish of like marking your territory. I think that like there's a common trope in romance called fated mates, where particularly in fantasy romance, where it's like you already have your soulmate, and through some magical thing, like when you find your soulmate, you know, some magical thing will happen where that's your fated mate, and that's kind of sort of in here.
Yes.
I do feel like for this book in particular, however, I think it's like kind of like this just knowing the other books, I think it's like propaganda against everyone to be afraid of orcs, because there's a war between the orcs and the men, right?
Yes.
And so all of these men are kind of spreading these like terrible rumors about the orcs, like don't go near Orc Mountain because they'll like kidnap you and like rape you, and you know you'll die having their babies. And then like all of these women are learning like, oh, I was taught wrong. And so I think it is like this allegory of like how like we are being told all of these lies to like kind of control our bodies and control our choices.
Sure, yeah. No, I think
and control who's it acceptable, who can date acceptably.
Exactly.
Which is like a big like, you know, cultural thing. Like a lot of cultures are like that. So the fated romance thing is another thing that I feel like is like it is definitely in there, because she's drawn to this altar, right? She goes to this altar, she takes off her clothes, she lies in the moonlight, she jacks off, and she's like, why do I keep coming here to jack off? And then
which she had done before too.
She does it all the time. It's her favorite thing. It's like the only time she feels free.
Yeah, exactly. And then so she's there alone, but then it's this orc is also drawn to this altar, and so it's kind of like she's drawn there because she's fated to be with this guy. But yes, to your point earlier, when she first sees him, he's a menace and she's terrified. She thinks he's going to be killed, you know, she thinks he's going to be violated against her will. But like so much of the first part is just him like calming her and reassuring her that this is going to be, you know, I guess honestly a consensual act, you know.
100%. Yeah, I do see, like, I mean, I know on the surface it looks like, you know, there is like kind of something, a bit of a dubious consent. There's like dubcon kind of like nature to it, which I get.
Oh, I don't know that little abbreviation.
Oh, dubcon. Dubcon means dubious consent.
Yeah.
And it basically, I think it's in fan fiction as well, but I think it means like in fiction, it's when you don't necessarily see a character asking for consent from another character.
Right.
Or it doesn't seem as if they are doing that, and it's fine and the character goes along with it. It can be triggering for some readers, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why people usually kind of like are like, hey, just so you know, there's like dubcon in this book.
For sure, yeah. I think there's some of that
Yeah.
here. She like, I mean, it also plays so much into it. I would talk to you a little bit about this beforehand, but like also so much of what I've read in, you know, like whatever, in fanfic or whatever, stuff similar to this, where it just is like I shouldn't, but then I grabbed it, his orc prick, and I and I loved it, you know what I mean? Like there's that back and forth, and there's a lot of that with her here, where she's like, then I just like said yes, give it to me, or may I please you punish me, or whatever. There's a lot of that stuff, but it seems at first that she is not. She's like, I'm not into this, or am I? You know what I mean? There is like a lot of that in the beginning. But as far as just getting dominated, they make so much. They make like a huge meal out of just her presenting herself to the moon.
Yes.
Which is so funny. Of like her ass is up and like her legs spread wide.
Beautiful.
And
On
I'm
the
like
moss.
cleansed to the moon. And it is that was very
juices
funny.
soaking the moss.
Yeah. There is. She has a lot of juices for a human woman.
She does,
quite surprised. And he has a lot of juices for man.
I mean,
there's a lot of liquids going on, and this is
so
even
many.
half of it.
Yeah.
You know,
it seems like the orc has no refraction period, because he's just I think
that's rule one with orcs.
That's a little fantasy suspension of disbelief. I'm just like, okay, that's just how
100%.
their anatomy works.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because if it was a Mitch orc, like I would have been. This story would be 5 pages.
I mean, to be fair, You know what? I think it's all male characters in romances. Their refractionary period is way too short. Like, I remember when I was reading it and then I started dating, being very confused.
Wait, you just filled my belly with your seed.
Yeah.
Why do we have to watch Conan for 20 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you falling asleep?
Yeah.
It's time for you to stick your finger up my butt.
I like that. It sounds like part of that was like, you just filled my belly with seed. It seems that's not true.
No, yeah.
Like, you had one seed fall out. It's usually not nearly as romantic as any of this.
Yeah.
But the orc is really, he's kind of nonstop coming once he starts. Once the orc starts flowing, it kind of doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. Yeah, and there's like pre-cum, there's cum, post-cum. There's like all sorts of different.
Well, they make note of because he like puts cum on her face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then puts it on her like butt or whatever.
Yeah, and this is part of like the act that they're doing.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. But then they do know at one point where it's like, where they're like, and then he came like in the end, in the final act, what you were saying, which is a little out of order, where the orc comes inside the woman, is like and then you're like, okay, so that was like another release there,
right?
But they make such a big deal of the because it is like, this is like the moment where like it's sensual, they love each other.
Yeah. You know, there's gonna be like, that's when you feel trust between them. That's when you feel like, okay, there's nothing keeping them apart anymore.
Can I ask you? Oh, please finish.
I was just saying, and she gives into becoming a mountain wife.
Yeah,
she's
an orc lady. Yeah,
right. My life
off to Orc Mountain.
Our life is going to begin together. But these characters also exist in the larger like Orciverse of Finley Fenn. So it's like this is also their origin story.
This is their origin story, because like when you see them again, like when you in the other books, they're like a couple and they have a cute little son named Skull.
Skull.
Yeah,
oh, that's cute.
Because in this world, orcs need, like, orcs are having an issue with procreation where they need human women to procreate. Like, there's no female orcs in this world. You know, I know that there
are no female orcs in the world.
Right, yeah. So I know that there are female orcs that exist in other kind of, like, other stories and games and things like that. But in this particular world, I think it's like, it was like they kind of got started because these, like, evil elves were, like, you know, just created orcs, and just for some reason only male orcs can come from, like, any type of procreation.
I think that is Lord of the Rings too, right? Isn't there?
They're all male in Lord of the Rings, and I think there's also like an element of like just kind of like, we're not even treating you like people, you're pack animals where we made you to work, you know, and so like and then everyone views them that way, but it's actually not true. There's a tenderness within them, and like they want to be parents like anybody. But yeah, that's really interesting that part of it is like, because I was like, okay, so she's gonna birth a half orc.
Yeah, or it'll be a full orc, I think.
It will be a full orc.
It will be a full orc with the science. Yeah, I mean,
because in D&D it would be a half orc,
right?
But like this is like it's just a different rule set.
From my understanding, it doesn't. They never, like, the books never say this is explicitly a half orc. I mean, they call it a babe, or my orc. Like my son, my warrior son. So I just assume that, like, it just seems like, it was a full-on orc, because all of these orc men, they all have moms. You know what I mean? And they all have, like, complicated relationships with their moms based on, like,
Do they have a complicated relationship? What's his name?
Does Sylphast? Well, I don't know about Sylphast's backstory, but in the first one, his name is like Grimoire or something, and like his mom was killed for like sleeping with an orc, and like he misses his mom, and he was like grew up without that nurturing from his
sad.
mom.
Oh, that is sad.
What is the name of the baby that Sylphast and what's her name?
Like
Skull.
Skull. Like,
Skull.
when Vikings cheers, like they go Skull. I think it's that.
But do we see him as an adult, or do we see the relationship with him and what the hell is what's her name?
Stella.
Yeah, you see them as like you see him as a baby, like crawling around, like at the end of. Well, you do see it at the end of in the epilogue of book 1.
Yeah.
And so this story takes place like between the final chapter of book 1 and the epilogue of book 1, if that makes any sense. So
yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does what's his name? The husband come?
Lothar.
Does Lothar come back?
No.
I have a feeling Lothar's dead in a ditch somewhere, personally.
Yeah.
Lothar-
Good riddance, I say.
Me too.
Did anyone else see the Mike Myers SNL sketch Lothar of the Hill
Yes,
People?
absolutely.
All right.
As soon as I read that, I was like, that's what I had in my head. Lothar
Lothar
of the Hill People.
Man, SNL used to have some weird sketches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny.
I
Just
think,
thinking of that sketch playing to like silence in 1991 or whatever.
I was like, what's this theme song? Were there...
Fuck Lothar. Fuck Lothar.
Yes.
We don't like.
Seems like a bad dude.
He's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude, and I think that's like kind of the thing. Like they're all in, like all of these women are in terrible, terrible situations, and I think that there were moments where I kind of like really felt for Stella. Like she would say something like, "No one would care if I died," and I was just like,
Yeah,
"Oh, my
it's a real
heart
bummer.
breaks." Yeah.
That's what she's saying. Like that's what her real fear is. Like I'm gonna die alone on this altar, and no one's even gonna care, and my husband's just gonna move on, and all my relatives are dead, and and he's finally like, no, we can be a family, and that's a big part of it. Yeah, I wonder. I guess like this is just like. I guess it's like probably a trope of this sort of fiction, but it does feel like there's an element of someone who was reading this who was like maybe in a bad marriage or something would just project themselves onto this of like,
100%.
oh yeah, that's my dream is I'd have this guy I wasn't expecting come out of nowhere and sweep me off my feet. You know?
Which I was surprised that Finley Fenn, I was saying, gets along so well with her husband. She found that orc.
She married an orc.
She married an orc. I mean, or
orc.
he just like wears an orc costume or something. Because it's so weird. I was like thinking about this the other night. I was like it's exciting for me to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know if in the real world, if I were wandering through a forest and saw an orc, I would be like, "Fuck me now." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure.
She gets on board pretty quickly.
Yeah.
With also like it's also that sort of thing of like now hearing that orcs can like be shitty in that universe. It is funny to just be like no, I will treat you well, and she's like, you don't even know my name. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty.
It's a good point.
The not knowing your name and deciding to go off to Orc Mountain, it's a lot. It's a lot of commitment. It makes me think Stella. I mean, this is the state that she was in, I guess, is that like there was no real love in her life, and this is, this fleeting moment was the best thing she's ever had. So it makes sense that she went, but I was just like, you're gonna really go to Orc Mountain, Stella? What the fuck?
I like it because I feel like it kind of like broke the narrative of what we think like falling in love should be,
Sure, yeah.
Because like it is like kind of this thing like this theme of cleansing, I guess, of like, oh, maybe sometimes like what you have to do to kind of like cleanse yourself, whatever cleansing means, because it's not like because I think this is a good thing in terms of getting rid of the stigma of like sex is dirty and no sex means you're clean, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, oh, if like in order for a transformation, sometimes you have to do something incredibly grotesque only to discover that it's the best thing that's ever happened to you.
That is I like that. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
And a lot of the descriptions are wild. I was trying to think of like what the closest to Orc Mountain would be in our world. And I think I settled on like UCB Sunset.
It doesn't exist anymore? Aww. But you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the opposite though, because the orcs are like good, powerful men.
No, this is like Lothar would be the guy who's coaching a Herald team who you're dating. He's like, oh God, I gotta stop living in the Hollywood Towers with Lothar. I
gotta get to
need
Orc
an orc to
Mountain.
get me out of here.
Well, it's interesting because in Orc Mountain, in the other books, like it is a very interesting place to say the very least.
Sure.
But it is like there's always a moment where like a woman like will walk into Orc Mountain. They'll be like, oh, this is like really way more civilized than I thought. And then the orc is like, see, you've misjudged me, and
Right.
it's like understandable. There is also in Orc Mountain, which is not featured in this book whatsoever, is that they all fuck each other too.
Oh.
Yeah. So until they find their fated mate, they are very open with their sexuality. There's no like prudishness. Like they are is just like, oh, we have these urges. So there is a very massive sex den in Orc Mountain where everyone's just fucking.
Yeah. And so that like is kind of like, oh, they're also like very open-minded and sex positive, and that's
Exactly.
maybe part of the appeal as well. I was just like, I was looking up for all the mentions of orc prick in my Kindle, and they do emphasize repeatedly how huge it is,
Yeah.
which is a big part. Like she's basically like how am I
scared.
going to handle this
Yeah.
thing? She's scared, and he's like, you fear me, but you fear my prick, but your womb is waiting. You know, he's like kind of like, and I think a big part of it is, I don't know, like taking his huge, hard, hot cock into her heat or whatever. It's like so much of it is about just her being just like completely filled up.
Yes.
Which is really, especially when they're talking, like it's just like, that's I guess the most graphic part of the book. The other thing is there is a little bit of a mild vampirism, which
Yes,
is
there
part
is.
of
Well,
it too.
I wrote down Dracula shit.
Yeah.
There is Dracula shit.
So he's like, and this is while he's railing her, right?
Yep.
He leans in and he bites her neck. Like he turns her neck and he bites into her, and then he's drinking her blood while he's fucking railing her. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
loves
She's into it.
She's like, he's drinking me and fucking me, and she
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah. There is a lot of biting in this world, I will say. I feel like I'm like, you should read the next book, da-da-da-da-da. But like there is a scene in the Librarian and the Orc where she is in the sex den and she bites the orc's dick and he bleeds and she drinks the blood
Whoa.
from the side, like the side of the
Stella
orc's
does
dick.
this?
No, this is
Okay.
I forget her name, but she's a librarian. She becomes the librarian of Orc Mountain.
She becomes, and
Good job.
does she have a fated mate, or does she just?
Yes, she has a fated mate, and it's like the person that, like, it's usually like your fated mate is the one you can bite and drink blood. Like that's how you know they're your fated mate in a way. I guess kind of like with
Okay.
vampires
Yeah.
in a way in some lores.
So Stella and what the hell is his name again?
Stilgar.
Stilfast.
Stilfast. I'm sorry.
Stilfast,
Stilgar's different.
yeah.
Stilgar's from Dune.
Yeah. They're all the
So
same as
fast.
they're all like sound like Vikings,
They
you
do.
know? So it's like, yeah, they're all the same.
Sylfast and Stella, they're fated mates. So he's not
Correct.
gonna go fuck any other orcs right now.
No,
Okay,
from
okay.
now on.
Okay. Yeah.
But okay, here's the thing. In some of the other books, there's an upcoming book this week out called The Widow and the Orcs.
Okay.
Ooh.
And we are getting into thruple territory.
Wow.
Where orcs can have multiple mates and a woman, you know, and it's very much a thruple. It's not like, oh, we're in an open relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
for
it's
sure.
like the three of us are in love with each other.
Wow.
Man,
Yeah.
these ladies are probably walking around all fucking bow-legged, and I mean these.
They are in so much pain.
It's insane. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's like, just like when it's like 3 fingers, then 4 fingers, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
That's
Right.
why I have to take my brain out of it because I'm just like,
Oh.
I don't want to feel this pain. But what's more disgusting is that, like, because of the amount that orcs come in this book, like, they'll be like, 2 days later, she was still dripping orc cum.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And I'm just like, that sounds so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's so,
Yeah.
that's so gnarly.
But the thing is that that's common for Orc Mountain. That's just like someone wearing a pair of pants, you know, down the street. Like, this is like,
Yeah.
So there's like trails of fucking orc cum all
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Fucking-
And it's like, oh, okay, like, oh, I guess Stella was here or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just like it's like kind of like, oh, these orcs do not have the same rules that we do, and it's
Yeah.
like kind of mind blowing a little bit.
Yeah, we can trace that slug trail back to her front door. Fucking, it's gross. But
It's so
you-
gross.
You and I should be roommates at Orc University. Where like everyone is just fucking, and we're like, keep it down.
Sounds like Mario. So the thing, okay, the hygiene was one thing where I kind of was like, okay, this is kind of like a bit of turn up. The other thing is, and whatever, I know people have their different kinks or whatever, like it gets pretty rough. Like he's
It
like
does.
slapping her a lot and
Yes.
stuff, and like
So
that's
much
the stuff where I was like,
slapping.
this is really, that's like a little bit far for me, you know?
Agreed.
He loves those fat teats, as he says.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
he scratches up the fat teats as
Yeah,
well.
he's like using his claws and stuff. It's pretty S&M.
Yes, yeah.
And I was saying that thing before where she like positions herself to be cleansed by the goddess. It is funny, like she's like, they describe her like holding her titties and her nipples are like pointing up at the moon.
Yeah.
It is very, very, I mean,
Her mouth's open and she's holding her asshole open.
Yeah.
yes.
I found myself
beautiful.
trying to
So
do that as I
beautiful.
was like sitting on the on the couch.
Look, if we went to the Orc University, I know that I come home and you'd be drinking some blood from an orc dick. Or fucking drink. You would get
Oh,
it.
this was left over in the fridge.
Was it? If you were orcs, would you drink your own cum? I mean, that like would you do that?
I would drink orc cum now if it has
Yeah.
some of these, like you said, like
Like if it was healthy and
it has
yeah.
it has some magical properties, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So it is kind of
think
like
I
they
would drink
are.
some.
There
Yeah,
is something
we do it
cool.
for a segment.
Yeah.
And let me guess. And let me tell you, I get it the hard way if you catch my drift. Wink. I mean, honestly, I don't think I could. It sounded like, I don't know how big these, but I guess she's a human being. She got it in her mouth.
Yeah, I think there's an impossibility to it to some degree. It's like, hey, you know what? In fucking, I'll go back to Baldur's Gate because I just played so much of that game, and it is a game with some, like, it gets very sexy and very horny. Mm-hmm. When you actually think through the logistics of it, you know, a half-orc probably could not have sex with a gnome. But they just sort of like whatever. They just sort of like gloss over that physical mismatch, and I think it's the same sort of thing here. There's some sort of like magical element to it because she's not taking like this fucking dude's like 10-inch hog.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. You figure it out in different ways. You know
I guess
what I mean?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's even parts when like again it's very explicit when she's taught like. He's stretching her asshole with his big dick. It's like he's just kind of soaking it in there. He's not actually doing it. Like it's like he's being very gentle.
Yeah.
With it,
Very
so,
gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
That was the stuff that did. Sorry, that was the stuff that like when her like butthole was dripping and loose and open. I was like, I don't know if I don't.
I completely get it. Like it's not my cup of tea either.
Yeah.
But I think what I really liked about it is that he is checking in with her every
Yes,
step
for sure.
of the way.
For sure.
It is true.
It is so disgusting. But then he's like, "Does my mate or whatever?" in his orky voice, you know, of like, "Do you like the?" You know. But it's like it's like kind of like it's not like asking for consent, but it is in this world, you know.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
She's making sure she's into it at every turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she is into it despite herself.
And he offers her outs, except
part of the
I
taboo.
think at the beginning to offer her outs, it means that he'd have to kill her, which is
But I
complicated.
mean, the orc has a trajectory too. He has a character journey as well of like, do I kill a human?
Sure, yes,
Nope,
yes.
I'll marry her.
Look, if he was at UCB, he wouldn't be the worst guy.
If that guy was at UCB, like he would be like every girl would be fawning over him.
Yeah.
Like I want the orc.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Stillfast isn't even that funny. It's like
yeah. He's okay. Yeah, sure. He gets all the girls, but dude, I've never seen him be funny in one scene.
I mean, to be fair, Stillfast would be like the one that's like, oh, you're 23 and you're already married and like in a good relationship. You know what I mean?
Right,
He's
sure.
that improviser.
I'm sorry. So no one at UCB ever.
Yeah, we're all just like, oh man, we missed our chances with Stillfast. We all missed our chances. Okay, I want to ask you guys, like, I think we talked about this a little bit, but like there's usually like a headline of the book, you know, like kind of just like a one scene or one moment that kind of sticks out to you. Obviously we have our butt sex scene, which was insane. He smells her butt and then fucks. But for me, like my headline moment was like the moment I knew that she could trust him was when he like takes apart her braid right before they fuck and it doesn't get like, and he knows how to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's like he wasn't like, oh, it's in my claws. Like he's just like, he takes it apart. And then I was like, oh, she can trust him. I love that moment.
And they kind of bookend that too with her putting her hand through his hair at one point.
right.
Yeah, I think that's a great moment. I mean, to me, I don't know if this is the same thing, but when they do have you know, like vaginal intercourse and like she knows that he can trust him, that's a big moment for me in the book.
Yeah. I will just say, like, we already talked about it, but like I was just how surprised I was by the Dracula shit, to borrow Mitch's phrase.
Oh yeah.
And also, but just how intimate it was and how eroticized it was. I was like, okay, this is the part of this sort of fantasy genre that I just did not know was like a thing. And it makes sense when you think about it, but
the moment where he's talking about, and this is kind of another moment where it was like his hands just like gracefully touching like her vagina basically, and like it was soft and it was like sweet to the touch after he had spanked her and stuff like that.
Because he would alternate that kind of you know, if you got a little rough, he'd be tender afterwards and make sure to give her a little aftercare, I guess. But there's also the thing I was surprised by was I kept waiting for him to eat her out. And it just doesn't happen. He just doesn't do that. And I was like, do orcs not do that, or is that just not? They do that.
They're they're like DJ. They're the DJ Khaled. They don't do it.
They do it. Michael
Peggy's-
Douglas? No, that's not who does
they're-
it.
he did it too
no,
much.
he did it too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy.
All the orcs have like throat cancer from
Yeah.
God.
from doing it too much.
Every man is somewhere on the spectrum from DJ Khaled to Michael Douglas. You
It's
just got to
true.
find the sweet spot.
The orcs are kind. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like
Let's
I
just
think
say
the orcs
I'm a
are
little
in the
closer to
middle.
Khaled than Douglas.
There was like there is a scene in one of the books where it's like he's eating out the woman, and they all have like black tongue, like they talk in black tongue, which I think is referenced in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And so like they were like his large tongue was like snaking around in there, and I was like, that feels like a snake in a vagina, and
Yeah,
I don't like this.
yeah.
Is very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So I'm like, for me personally, was glad there was no like oral sex moment for him going down on her, but that was just my own druthers.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it would have been interesting to see what they did with it, but I was happy to not have, you know, the one, two, like, especially because she points out, like, his sharp tooth.
Oh yeah, I always forget about the teeth, that they're so sharp.
Right.
Yeah, there's
kind of
like
wolf teeth, they're described.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it because I thought
I get
they're
that.
doing everything else. I thought that was going to happen, but then I guess there's also like this is so much about. I think they're not all about domination, correct? This is specifically so much a domination fantasy that maybe that was part of it. It's
You
just
were
like,
still
I'm
a-
not doing anything to you. You're doing everything to me.
You were still able to get off without this.
Yeah, still getting off. Yeah, of
All right,
course.
all right, good,
Who
good,
isn't?
good, good.
Who isn't?
I mean, I was, of course.
Yeah, of
Thank
course,
God.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. You to
One-
read a book, but like more importantly.
Once there was an orc. Whoa!
Like thank God. Thank God.
I did not. I masturbated. I didn't just come to the orc. It is filthy, and as filthy as we're being right now, the book is a billion
so
times
disgusting.
filthier.
It's so disgusting.
It's grosser
Yeah.
than every Doughboys episode.
Yeah.
It 100% is. It is so disgusting. It's so grotesque, but at the same time, for some reason, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever
It's-
read.
I kind of love it.
It's
yeah.
life.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed reading it.
I think my headline moment is her wet heat dripping onto the moss. Which
yeah, right, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's that she is turned on. It's leaving her to the moss.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wags and I are gonna hit up Altar of Batul after this.
If any ladies are there, if any babes are there.
An improv scene breaks out. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
improv guys. Crazy eights at the Altar of Batul.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I had to say.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you guys, on your show, you obviously have your fork score.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm going to ask you your orc score.
Wow,
On
this
the
is great.
spot.
I love it.
Yeah. No, but like honestly, out of like how much you enjoyed it, 1 out of 5.
We
or
do
something.
5, yeah.
You do 5. Yeah.
You go first.
I would give this. I think this is here's the thing I will say. It is a slim volume. It is more like kind of like a long short story, short novella, where it's about 60 pages, right? So I think I just wanted a little bit more characterization. I wanted a little more character development. I wanted a little bit more time with these characters talking to each other. I think the doing the nasty is really raunchy and hot. Some of the stuff's not for me, but I think it's well written for what it is and feels very true, very much ensconced in this fantasy world. So I think I would go probably 3.5 orcs. I overall enjoyed it. I think I just wanted a little bit something a little bit. This felt more like a snack than a meal.
not in the Golden Orc Club.
Yeah, not quite in the Golden Orc Club.
I probably settle around. It would be very funny if, like, you know, this is my 1 book challenge, which I've now completed.
Yeah.
If I was just like, man, this is fucking great. Like, are all books like that? Like, just like,
I just
Not
like,
reading,
I
but-
secretly was hoping for, but I'm just so glad you read it.
I did enjoy a lot of it. I think that there, besides the characterization stuff, which I agree with, and I would like to see some transformative stuff, and I would like to see,
Yeah.
I would like to see a little bit more magical stuff personally, which I guess just in this world there is some stuff with the Orc Seamen, but there's not as much as maybe I even want anyways. But I enjoyed it. I think a lot of the sexual stuff could get repetitive sometimes, which is like my only hit on it, where I'm like, if you took out some, like, where I'd just be reading it and be like zoning out on some of the stuff that was like like each chapter it would be like now he's touching her again, and
Yes,
he's kind
yeah.
of grabbing her ass again,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
spreading her wide, and then it would like revisit that in the next chapter before
Yeah.
he like escalated or took it up, they heightened it in some sort of way.
Some double beats. He's slapping her titties and pitching her nipples again. It's like,
Yeah.
we did that a couple of times already.
They did that a couple of times. Look, I liked it when they did it.
No, I get it. I think it's a pacing thing. You know,
Yeah.
like having to spread it out.
Yeah.
Spread it wide and out.
And I did, like, I was hoping when I saw that it was 7 chapters. I mean, this is the longest thing I've ever read in my life. I was hoping that we got into like their lives after
Right.
and some of that stuff too. And it really is like, besides the setup of Stella walking to the altar, and then once the orc shows up and there's like, a little bit of fear in the beginning, but then after that it's just like, what did you say, 5+ chapters of fucking.
Yeah.
And it ends kind of just with fucking. It ends with her just kind of smiling and agreeing to go off. Oh, she wants to fuck
just
again.
gonna
Yeah,
fuck
she's ready
again
to
on
go
the
again.
altar.
Fuck again
Yeah.
on the altar.
Yeah.
But like it just is that from then on out. Which, look, if that's what you're looking for, this is 100%. You should read it, and it is beautiful in many ways. I agree with that. And it is funny how it is like similar to a lot of other fiction, like kind of dirty stories or
Right.
fiction like that. And I would say 3.5 orcs. Wags.
Yeah.
I'm with you on 3.5 orcs.
Yeah.
Which for an orc, 3.5 is, I know, very small. But for most,
Not average. It's way
Yeah.
below average.
we should maybe put this on the orc scale, which would be like 3.5 would be like what for them, like
Yeah.
8.5 or
Yeah,
something.
but yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But
Okay,
but
yeah.
but I enjoyed it, and I did read it all, and I had a good time with it. It was fun.
Well, it means so much to me that you guys came on the show and read the book.
We loved it.
For
Anytime.
me, it's 6 out of 5 orcs.
You loved this one.
I here's the thing. I love this one because I know the other books.
Yeah,
I
sure.
feel like if you're a fan of this series and it's just like you want just something quick to read, like while you're like waiting for at the airport or something, and you don't mind reading this stuff in public, I'd say, yeah, it's fun. Yeah. It's a good thesis. I think it's a good thesis of what the series is, and
Yeah.
so yeah, 6 out of 5.
How many of these books have you read?
I have read 5 of them. I've read 5 of them, and
okay.
I think there's 9 maybe,
Got
9
it.
or 10. Yeah.
Did you read this in one sitting? Did you just
This I read in one sitting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do one sitting?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, I split it up into I think like 25. No, I did. I think I did it in two
Yeah.
stretches. I read half and then I read the other half.
I got high, which was nice.
You got high.
Yeah, I know this,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Did I mention you have to be stoned while reading these books?
I was not.
whoops.
I feel like I mean I do. I'm OCD, but then I think another issue is that I like definitely have some sort of ADD. I know everyone uses that excuse, but like of course I do. And I can't. I always have to reread passages, which for people who read a lot, you still do that a little bit. I'm sure.
I mean,
right?
I have
Yeah.
ADHD, and I think the thing that keeps me focused is because it's something I'm interested in.
Sure,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
So it's like I feel like reading can be a hobby for everyone. You know, like I know that there are people who are like, oh, I'm a bookworm, I'm not a bookworm, but it's like, well, if you're reading about something you're interested in, you like reading. You are a
Yeah.
bookworm. You know.
Yeah, I think if I was high though, that the rereading, I would be rereading passages, and then I probably wouldn't remember any of it. Is like my issue.
I like, and this is not a thing I do regularly, and I think I've been doing more recently. But I find it focuses me a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of get a little bit more locked in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
How
and
high
yeah.
were you?
Just a little bit.
And also just to check with marijuana.
Yeah. I did like
No.
10 milligrams. So that's like crazy, right? That's like a fairly.
That's for me. That's like a good amount, but I'm a small person.
Yeah.
That's
so.
how I run my errands.
And you were probably like incense peppermints were playing in your head while that, which is good. I don't even do it at all anymore, so I think that's pretty good.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. This was truly, truly a dream come true for me.
We had a blast, and
I loved it.
you know what? Maybe I'll be looking up some. I know that there were some pictures drawn for this.
Oh yeah, I'll show you some pictures. Yeah,
I would love to see some pictures. Do you have any of the pictures?
On her website, I can show you. Yeah.
I want to put faces to the characters,
Yeah.
to Stellar and whatever the hell his name is. I forgot again.
I might be having a new lock screen.
If you liked today's episode, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you didn't like it, why are you still here? For links to today's book, you can check out the show notes or the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. The amazing synopsis I wrote is also available on the episode page at tstlpodcast.com. Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network and Culture Media. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.